Welcome to Alpha Wolf Trading. Did you know that there's over 12,000 stocks or companies that trade on the OTC? Between the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, you have over 7,000 companies. But us as retail investors, we wouldn't know that unless we were researching. Because why? Wall Street focuses on the elite, the big companies. And where the retail investor has their advantage is in small and micro-cap stocks. Why? Because you have the opportunity to speak directly with leadership. That is what this is all about here at Alpha Wolf Trading. We're trying to find the hidden gems, and we interview the executive teams of companies that we think meet the parameters to be those hidden gems. I also want to make sure you understand that this is not a paid-for promotion. I collect no compensation for the interviews I do here. These companies that I interview have been identified as potential opportunities for me and the members of Alpha Wolf Trading to receive a higher than average return on our investment. These companies I have identified either because of a technical setup on a chart, a fundamental change within the organization, new management team, new products, all kinds of different things that actually lead me here. But what do I think is the most important? Leadership. And that is why I do these interviews. I want to understand what drives the person that is leading the charge. I want to feel their passion. I want to understand their vision and the strategy that they're going to use to achieve success. That is what these interviews are for. I want to understand the share structure and the cap table, the size of the TAM, the total addressable market. This is the opportunity to learn all of those things. So sit back and enjoy. And if you learn anything from today's interview, do us a favor. Subscribe to the Alpha Wolf Trading YouTube channel. Those pieces. Hey everybody, Tim from Alpha Wolf Trading coming at you with a follow-up. This one I've been wanting to do for a while. It's just been, both of us have been super busy. John is an admirer or a student of the market as I am, and every time we get together, we have really interesting conversations. But John, I think you're in a really, you kind of mentioned it right as soon as we got on the call. You're in a very interesting spot technically, right? But more importantly, yes, you got a lot of positive things happening that I think are being overlooked by the street. And John Lay from PetVivo, PETV is the symbol on the NASDAQ. I think they have a product that is a game changer. It is a, if you're a dog lover or a horse lover, or really, I guess any kind of a pet lover, because it's been done on birds. I think it's been done on a couple of
white Siberian tigers and billy goats at zoos.
So that Spryng, which John has up there right behind him, the SPRYNG, which is the osteo. What is it? What is it again?
With OsteoCushion Technology.
There you go, OsteoCushion Technology, which is basically when you get the dogs get older, at least the hind legs. You know, you get that cushion in between that winds up with the tendon or whatever it is that's between the bones, so that they're not rubbing against each other. Disintegrates as they get older, right? And then they're experiencing pain, can barely walk. And what your product does is really amazing, and it's completely 100% all natural.
Yes, it's a naturally derived product, and the function. We use the term extracellular matrix, so it mimics the existing cartilage or the cartilage that used to be there. So it's purely a mechanical function. It goes in, starts to form the scaffolding, and the areas where it's voided of the cartilage because of wear and tear and the degrading fills in and functions just like cartilage would have been there. And that I don't want to say it functions better because we don't have a study on that, but the ability for these particles to stay wet and lubricious, we feel gives it a major advantage, because as the dog runs more, it's actually moving the particles, and the particles are wet and lubricious, so it actually keeps the joint cool from heating up and getting inflammation.
Okay. So horses, dogs, right? You've got some
Cats.
cats,
Yeah.
right? You sent me actually, you sent me a video of or what was it?
Oberon,
What
a German Shepherd from a military family. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing video, right?
Yep.
Of quickly this dog, and you could tell this dog was in pain. Couldn't even touch the dog because it was in so much pain, right? I don't know if it was one treatment or how many treatments he went through.
So this is a military family, you know, they can't afford a lot of money, but they spent so much trying to help the dog along, had 5 bad joints on 6 different medications. And the little kid, every time approached the dog would move away because when the kid hugged the dog, it was in so much pain. So the vet says, you know, we really have to put the dog down. It's suffering way too much. So they contacted our nonprofit, PetVivoCares.org. And we said, you know, it's a military family. That's one of our missions, is to help the military dogs, horses. So we donated, I think, 4 or 5 syringes to the vet. Vet injected all 5 joints at once. And within 3 weeks, as the little kid would say on the video, it's running like a 3-year-old. Plus the 6 medications, after 3-4 weeks, they're totally off all the medications. And as you know, prolonged use of any medication has multiple negative side effects like gastrointestinal tract bleeding, stomach ulcers, liver and kidney issues. So the family could not be any happier. And they said, you know, the world needs to know this story. And we helped them create the video and let them tell the story. And they put it up on, you know, their social media networks, and we put it up on the PetVivoCares.org site. And there we are. It's great stories, but we got stories like that coming left and right now because the products.
That's what I was going to say. It's one of many.
Yeah.
Fluke. You know, you've had it with horses, you've had it with dogs, right? I mean, this is not
and cats now too, because our cat product is ready to really push and launch here in late September, because all these studies that we commissioned 1.5, 2 years ago are coming to fruition, which will give us a lot of evidence to present to the small animal vets to say, hey, you really should look at this product. So we have 6 studies that will be presented from September on to the end of the year. So there's major catalysts of fundamental news. And the advantage of these studies is it allows our distributor, MWI, to contact small animal vet clinics and say, here are some studies and evidence to show you should really be looking at this new product. Because right now, because of the way we got the grant funding on the human side, we didn't have to do any studies for the companion animal side because we got automatic clearance. Well, it's great. You can tell a vet, we've done 4,000 dogs and they've been fantastic. They still say, well, show me the data. and the interesting thing is what you find is when a vet purchased the syringe for the first time, they usually inject a dog that they've tried everything and it doesn't work. And then once they inject Spryng and they see great results, in their mind, they automatically think, okay, this is last use targeted. Every time we get a dog, we try everything, doesn't work, we're going to inject Spryng. Well, it should be more than last use, but it takes them about 6 months to figure that out. Then they go to the next joint, like hip dysplasia. They start using it, see great results. And what we find is after 1 year to 1.25 years, the vets start writing in their exit notes to the pet owners as they come in for checkups. They say, you got a French bulldog here that's 4 years old. What we found is at age 5, they start having shoulder issues. At the first sign of shoulder issues or any type of issue of lameness, let us know and we should talk about Spryng as an early on injection. But it takes time to get through that. Now we have the scientific data that should help the adoption much quicker.
So you also, but you did tell me before we started recording, you had a nice, pleasant surprise recently,
Yes.
right?
So Dr. Tammy Grubb, she's a national, international lecturer on pain management for canines. She's also a professor at Washington State University. She did a peer review article in July issue of the publication is called Today's Veterinary Practice. It goes to veterinary doctors only. And in there, she talked about Spryng as the only product that's addressing the root cause of the problem for osteoarthritis, the bone-on-bone contact. The second major takeaway, which is one thing we try to educate the veterinary doctors, is she indicated it should be first use. That is, instead of prescribing all these NSAIDs, you should be grabbing Spryng to do the injection first. Third, which is also very important, there's 83 million dogs in the United States, and 5% of those dogs cannot take NSAIDs. They have adverse effects to it. So that's a little over 4 million. She said, Spryng is a very good alternative because you don't have the side effects, and the cost is significantly lower than the alternatives of using stem cells and everything else for osteoarthritis. So that was quite big. But the other thing is, she's been elected as the president of the International Veterinary Academy of Pain Management. That's a very prestigious organization of doctors for canines. So she will be speaking, I believe, in October at their conference, and she actually, I believe, will be talking about Spryng within the presentation of usage. So that's a very big credit, very prestigious person to be saying that before these studies, because you usually don't see universities and stuff making comments about something until the actual studies are published. But she's been using the product for almost 2 years, and we didn't know any of this was going to be happening. So it was a good surprise also. And I got a call from a vet. They go, hey, you guys are in this journal, and it's a peer-reviewed journal. It's talking about your product should be considered as first-line use.
That's fantastic, right? And you didn't know anything about it.
No, I have never talked to her or met her. I just know she's a customer because I called sales and shipping, and they go, oh no, she's been using the product close to 2 years.
So let's talk about the chart real quick, John. I mean, and chart, you know how to read charts pretty well yourself. Yeah. The technicals look, you were near a breakout point. I mean, you were like I really thought, you were going to $5, right? If you got above 350 and closed above 350, I thought next stop is $5-6, right?
Yeah.
Got very, very close, and stuff happened, pulled back.
Mm-hmm.
Lower volume, I will point that out, is that the pullback for this duration right here, I mean, you can see where you had the big run up to the 350.
Late March, 360. It hit 360 and then it
360. You had volume.
Yes, 50,000 shares a day was the average during that time.
And then it just kind of dried up on the pullback, right?
Correct.
And now you got what we would call a double bottom formation that just has happened,
and we just broke over the 200-day moving average too.
Right. That's why I love talking to you, John. You're one of the only CEOs that would actually be able to have this conversation with me like this. So you get it. The only thing that I'm not crazy about, and you probably are aware of it as well, is the 50-day being below the 200-day, right?
Correct.
That is the thing that it doesn't bother me that much. Because all these indicators are just what? They don't really, they're just in.
But that's where you use fundamental news to look at where the company is, and you're saying, okay, this is a good entry position. If the 50-day breaks back over the 200-day, you're going to have you're set up as a rubber band for a tremendous move. And that's just a technical call. I'm not making any calls on any stock. I'm just saying that's what a technical pattern looks like.
Right, right. And if the fundamentals are aligning properly, and you do have, I mean, these anecdotal things, the videos, that's all great, but you signed with one of the biggest distributors of animal health products on the planet.
The
right?
number one, yeah, the number one player.
Number one. Okay. And that relationship is coming along how? Well.
Good. There's been some shakeups there. So Spencer Breithaupt was the executive VP at MWI that, helped build a $5 billion a year business. So he retired in December of 2022. So he's also the chairman of the Animal Health Technology Corridor, which is like the top 25 animal health companies in the world. In May of this year, I think he agreed and joined our board of directors.
Your board?
Yeah, PetVivo's board of directors. He really knows the industry. I mean, when you take a company to $5 billion a year in sales, and he's the executive VP of sales, and he had plenty of opportunities to join one of the other major animal health companies. We're not in that. We're not invited into the top 25 companies, but he joined our board, and I'm sure he had opportunities to join other boards within that corridor.
This is not the first world-class talent.
Yes.
That you have.
Yes. So he helps now us from a standpoint of how distribution works, from a major distributor standpoint. Now, on top of that, we hired a surgeon by the name of Tom Yarbrough. He was the chief of surgery at Dubai Equine. He handled the royal family horses. He handled the most expensive horses in the world, as well as camels. I was shocked. He told me a camel sold for $10 million. That won the beauty contest for the Middle East. So I guess, and falcons are very expensive if they win awards. So his only thing is, if the royal family sends a jet for him, he's got to go. So that was his part of the only clause in his employment contract. If he has to go do a surgery on a high-end horse owned by the royal family, he's got to go. So, but that's a really credible person. And then we also hired Maureen Dower, 23 years at Zoetis. She was head of their adverse events, involved in multiple product launches through the FDA. She joined us because, she actually contacted us and said, I really like what you guys are doing. And we said, yeah, come to work for us. And she did. So that was a pretty good pull. And then Dr. Kaplan, he was nominated as one of the top 10 scientists in the world in the biomaterials area as a young scientist, okay? And he worked under Dr. Langer at MIT, which is considered like the godfather of biomaterials. Now, it's very prestigious to be associated with Dr. Langer. So he joined us in June, May or June. So we're pulling all these really top level people that everybody recognizes. They know their stuff, okay? They could look and say, hold it, this technology is BS. Obviously they don't believe it's BS, or they wouldn't come to work for us, because they could have got a salary at a major firm, and not worry about cash position of a company and so on. But they chose because they believe we got a product that's going to help animals and then eventually humans. And so it's more of what we're doing to help humanity. Plus their ability to get stock and stock options in PetVivo, which they would not get much in Zoetis. Because one of them made a comment to me, he goes, I may get a couple hundred shares of Zoetis with you. I got 30,000 options. So they see situations like that. And so they're betting with us, and we're all aligned. Everybody within this company loves to see the results like Oberon and so on, and that we feel we're doing good for the animals as well as people. So there's a lot of joy and a lot of excitement among the team.
And that's a great atmosphere to have, right? I mean, that's a winning.
Fantastic culture. That was one of the things that everybody joins us, is that it's so much fun to be here.
Right. And you know, I look at it like this, and it's been a brutal 24 months. Good news doesn't matter. You can look at news, stock goes down. That's 90% of the small microcap space right now. Doesn't matter what you announce, it doesn't matter. But I do believe that at some point you continue to execute, you continue to have the results that you're having, and attract the talent and build the team that you're building. At some point, I don't know when. That is my one weakness. I can't tell everybody the exact pinpoint time that shit's going to happen.
Nobody can.
No, right? But if you look at the whole damn story, this is an amazing, game-changing story. And it doesn't end with the animals. I'm glad you brought that up, because at some point, this does go to human trials, right?
Correct. Because as you know, our original funding came from NIH, National Institute of Health, and all the work was done on the human side before I joined the company. And because of all that work, we got the human medical device designation on the particles. And that's what led when I said we got to take it to the animal health space, because the FDA, the animal side, do not require you to do any clinical work because you already have the human side certified.
Right, right. So, I mean, if you have the kind of results that you're having, you know, there, I mean, how big is the TAM? How big is the TAM on that?
Well, on the humans for osteoarthritis on a global basis is 240 billion a year.
What's the market cap on you guys right now?
24 million market cap. Now the other catalyst we're looking at in a very short period of time is approximately 78% of the vet clinics are corporate owned. Now they can't take our product on pretty much until their medical review board approves your product. And for the way to approve your product is these studies. So as these studies come in, they review it, they say, yes, we'll let the clinic start ordering this. Now, what we did 2 years ago is we focused on the vets that were on these corporate review boards. We contacted them, gave them free syringes to use, and you'll see some of our customers are part of VCA, Banfield, and so on. They're the only guys that can be regular customers to buy product that isn't approved for the whole corporation. So we have the potential coming year end, first part of next year, as the scientific data gets to the medical review boards, well, you can see clinics coming in at 5,000, 6,000 a shot, because I think Banfield has like over 6,000 clinics.
Hey, so one other question: insurance coverage for your product, is that?
Yes, it's on. It's covered because it's a medical device. So as you know, as this science starts proving up with the studies, we're also diversifying our revenues, because right now over 90% of our revenues are in the equine space. Now with this scientific data, I'm really exploding the potential customer base, because there's only 10 million horses, 83 million dogs, and 60 million cats. So obviously the small animal side is significantly bigger. We haven't approached that side because we haven't had the scientific data. It's hard to call on a vet and then they go, well, send me the scientific data so I can review it. You tell them we have no data. They just says, well, call us after you get it. You know.
But that's coming. I mean,
yeah. Oh, I told you, so September, October, we have three of those studies already been approved to speak at these conferences, where the clinician will be presenting what they found in the data, having a written abstract, and then telling it's going to be accepted at the #1 journal for cats, feline practitioners.
right.
That, even though we don't know the data, we'll know because we'll have the abstract, but we're pretty comfortable for the top feline journal to say, we want your data to be published in our journal. they get to see the data. So obviously it's good because I don't think any journal publication is going to publish a bad study.
Right. No, I don't. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't do that. I think you have. You know, when we talked about Ordon, and we talked about another dog that had a similar issue where the owner was literally having to think about putting the dog down. When you go, I'm a dog lover. And, you know, I've got my girl sitting right next to me right now. Having that thought of having to put the dog down and going from that to the dog is running around like a 3-year-old pup is, I mean, the elation that person must feel is I don't even think you can put a price on that. What is that worth?
Yeah, because right now, when you have an older dog coming in with osteoarthritis that's really severe, the vet tells you have two options: spend $200 and putting the dog down, or spend $7,000-8,000 on a joint replacement that the odds are that it will work, versus an injection of Spryng that's covered under pet insurance. And if you don't have pet insurance, $800 to do the injection, where your dog's quality of life comes right back. They're able to run up and down stairs. You're able to go on runs with the dog and so on. So to me, that's a market that we're creating. It doesn't exist.
Right.
Joint life extension. So you know, you can quote the TAM, you know, one says it's 4.8 billion in the OA for small animals, another one says 11 billion. It really doesn't matter. It's a big number.
It's a big number.
for a company at a 24 million market cap.
And it's a big number that's improving quality of life for an animal and making the owners and the family members happy, right?
Yeah, and we satisfy the instant gratification thing. This is not like a glucosamine pill where over 6 months you may see a slight improvement. The injection of the Spryng, we usually see results within 3 to 10 days. Now, really severe cases, it may take 3 weeks, but the improvements are extremely tangible.
And that's that, you know, look, it's just going to keep coming in. It's going to keep building. The data, the studies from this data, you know, the data from the studies will be coming in, and this thing will just keep churning. But if I look at the stock and where it's sitting technically, I say to myself, okay, what's the risk reward here? Right? Where
the
can
52-week low is $1.60. We're trading $1.96 or so, $2. You know, the breakout is probably around 250, 260. That should take you to 3, and then you retest the 360 technically.
So I think the risk reward is pretty good here, right? I think
one would think so, especially with the multiple catalysts that I believe that we publicly already announced.
Yeah, you would think, but hey, I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. That's not what I do. I don't tell anybody what to buy or sell. I just present the opportunity, right, as I see it. And
people do their due diligence, look at the charts, look at the public filings, and make your own call.
Exactly. But I do think, you know, I can't tell you for certain, but at some point down the road, you will look back at this stock and you will say to yourself, man, I had the opportunity to buy that stock in like single digits, because I don't think it's going to stay in single digits forever. I think eventually you're going to double digits, and then who knows where. But I think you got a big opportunity in front of you. It's building a huge base, is the way I look at it. The bigger the base, the higher the space, right? And when you finally break, it's going to be powerful. I truly believe that.
I use the term like a rubber band. The more you pull that band, the harder it's going to go the other way.
Now, and if you look at that box that it's been trading in since 2022, right? I mean, it's just been trading in this range. It breaks out of that range, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm going to be there for it. I don't know who else is going to be there, but at least we brought it to them, John. On this day, we brought it to them and said, hey, you might want to take a look at these guys, right?
Correct.
All right. Listen, I want to have you back the next. When do you think we, for some reason, seem to have these too long of spreads? between our calls. When do you think the next time?
Maybe after some of these studies at the conferences get presented might be good. I can elaborate a little bit on the public information, what it really means.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't understand the scientific coefficients and the confidence levels of these statisticians that make statement. Like when one guy said to me, goes, John, 64.5% doesn't seem that good. I said, but you got to recognize this is on a cruise ship tear of a dog. It's like a human tearing their MCL or ACL, and 64.5% of those people improve beyond 25% in reduction of pain beyond 25%. That's a pretty significant number. We set a high threshold. I could have gotten a much higher number if I said a 5% improvement, but that really isn't as powerful as I set the threshold at 25%.
Right. No. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to leave it up to you.
Okay.
You get in touch with me.
Keep me on the calendar sometime and just email me as a reminder. I get so busy, I don't remember anything. Sometimes I have no idea what day it is.
I'll do it, John. I'll do it. Okay. Hold on a second. Anything else you want to emphasize?
No, just keep on our website. If they want, they can sign up to get news releases on our website, the investor site. So it's petvivo.com. And we're just excited to beef up the social media side. We hired an individual that worked social media for Merck Animal Health. He lived in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and he married a girl from Minneapolis and came here for the 4th of July and walked into our office and said, this is my experience. I want to come to work for you. We looked at it and said, we need a person like this because we don't handle social media. So it helps, help get more of those stories out that people are putting up. So we're looking forward to having a lot more great stories, great feel-good stories from dogs, cats, horses to hit the websites, the social media channels.
You got it.
Thank you, Tim, for having me on.
Yeah, thanks, John. Thanks for coming in. And I'll look forward to the next one. And my girl is trying to get me to stop.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
All right, John. See you.
Thanks for tuning in today to listen to a follow-up interview with John Live from PetVivo. Ticker symbol PETV. I hope you enjoyed today's interview, and if you did, do us a favor. Give us a like. How about giving us a share? And while you're at it, why not give us a follow? Until next time, stay safe. Alpha Wolf Trading wishes you the very best of success.